Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to our class of research methodology. I am Muhammad Imran Saeed, Assistant Professor, International Islamic University, Islamabad. So let's start with our lecture. Today we are going to talk about prior reading or literature reading. In fact, whenever we are doing research, we always need to learn the literature already available, the work done by the other scholars who are working in the same field or some related field. So we will have to study their work as well. So today's objective of the class would be introduction and the need of prior reading or literature study and its importance, basic reading strategies, and how to record your readings, what you have read or what you have kept for the future use, and what to get after the reading, right? How we conclude and how we make something out of that literature study or literature review. So let's start with, can we formulate a problem statement easily? The answer is no. The reason is, in fact, lots of prior study and knowledge is required for formulating a research problem. Look, when we work in some specific field or some subfield, in fact, we need to study the work done by the others, because I'm not the only person who is conducting the research, who has selected a specific topic. Maybe 100 other peoples have done, not are doing, but have done work on the same topic, in the same area. So I'll have to check what others have done and at what point that research has reached, so that I may find out that empty place, that vacuum where I can start my work with, right? So in fact, whenever we will have to create or formulate a problem statement, in fact, prior study or literature study is the solution. We will keep on studying so many papers, the work of others, and then we will realize that, okay, this is the area where there can be a question, where there can be a problem statement, where there can be a place for the jigsaw puzzle piece. So then we can apply that particular knowledge for that particular area. So why prior study or literature study is important? Number one, in literature study, we study the work of others. So, in fact, I will download the papers, I will get the journals, I will get the work of others, and then when I'll study that work, I will study all those papers. In fact, it will expand my knowledge, right? So, in fact, I am going to understand more about that particular area, particular problem, and I am studying in such a manner that the knowledge is expanding in depth and breadth. So that means I am going down and I am getting the deep knowledge along with the other related fields or subfields as a breadth. So in fact, in both direction, in the depth and the breadth, I am trying to expand my knowledge. In fact, I am getting more and more information, more and more knowledge that what others have done, right? And now know the already done work in the field. Maybe I am thinking about something and I am in isolation. I do not go for the prior study, I do not go for the literature study, the work done by the other, then I will never know that what has been already done in that field, right? So maybe I will be reinventing the wheel. I'll be doing something that has been done 10 years ago. So I'll have to study so that I may know that what has been done, what is already presented by the other scholars, and then know the persons who are working in that field. In fact, when we gather the literature material, the research papers and everything, we start knowing the peoples who are the good name in that area, who have got some positive impact in the research of that area. So now we are knowing what has been done and who has done what. So now we have little bit knowledge about the work done and the scholars and the researchers who are working in that particular area, so that whenever I'll need, maybe I'll find the particular paper of that scholar, because I know that he is working in that area. Maybe he would have done something else that would be related to this field. So I will try to have his work done, right? Whatever he has done, I will try to study that too. Now, know the opposing views. Always remember that it is not the research that whenever you are doing something, nobody will oppose you. No, there are many researchers that or who are challenging your research, because maybe you are working in an area, there can be a space, there can be a cushion in which the others can oppose you. It will not be something critical or something due to they don't like you, but the thing is, in fact, they also know the field and they also know that topic or subtopic, and in fact they are working on it. So maybe they have some their own findings, some their own research that tells us this job can be done, this work can be done or not, or if we do this work, will it worth that much that we spend time on it. So this is very important. When we are studying the literature, we must know the opposing views, the scholars who have opposed this kind of research, this question, this problem statement, or the methodology that we are saying they are opposing that. Then we must know it, so that we may not face the same problem that maybe they would have suffered with. Now, when we are getting the knowledge, we have to identify the gaps in the knowledge. As I told you, in fact, research is a jigsaw puzzle, right? So everybody is putting a piece of puzzle at its place. So in fact, you will first of all have to find out how many pieces have been placed at their places, and where is the gap, which space is empty where you can put your work, you can put your piece. So now identify the gaps in the knowledge and then check areas where research is needed. When we study the papers of others, it is always found that the researchers tell us about the future work. So when we study the recent papers, we come to know that this person has given a hint about the future work, what can be done more in that area, what can be done more in that particular topic. Maybe that topic can be solved, that problem can be solved with some other point of view, with some other angle. So normally we will have to find that where is the space where we can place our research. Then when we study that much papers, so many papers, we get some idea for the research. It is always important. You must remember, in fact, habit of reading the research papers is tough. I just understand that. But the thing is, once you make that habit, you start reading the abstract, you start reading little bit of the methodology, little bit of the conclusion, and you will start realizing that, okay, fine, I can study the paper. Do not try the whole paper in the first go. And when you will start reading, you will start getting the ideas for the research, right? And the last thing is, criticize the work of others. But remember, this last point is very much important. If you do not have the knowledge, much knowledge, then please don't try that. For criticizing something or criticizing someone's work is very much tricky. If you do not have the knowledge and you are just trying to criticize, don't do that, because you must have much knowledge, you must have much information about the research in that area, then you can talk about it. Otherwise, you will be saying something that will make no sense, or that will be something that others will oppose you, that what you are saying makes no sense. So try the criticizing the work of others only when you have a complete thorough knowledge of that particular problem area. Otherwise, you can be challenged by others. So that is the thing. What we get by the prior study, in fact, we get the knowledge, we know what has been done, who has done what, how people are opposing this area or this topic or this question or this problem, and then we've tried to find the main purpose is we try to find out the area where research is needed, where you find the blank space, and you can say that okay, here I will try my research area or my problem, right? So if you get the area, you get it worth researching, go for it. So now how do we read? How we do that reading, right? So we have different strategies. The first question is from where to read, what to read, whom to read. So now the first thing is from where to read. Look, in the past we used to have the libraries. We were supposed to go to the libraries, get the books, get the journals, sit on the seat or get it photocopied and bring it back and then study in our class, at our home, in our apartment, anywhere. So it was a way of getting the literature, what to study. And then normally in the libraries we were supposed to ask the librarians, searching the catalogs, and then there were the databases about the books and the journals. So we normally used to get the idea from those, right? And from those we also got to study only the abstracts, reviews and other things, so that we may get a better literature, a better research paper, not the garbage. So we try to learn from the libraries in our time. But now this is the time when we have the internet, we are connected to the best resources of the world. So we recommend all of you to spend less time in a manner instead of going to the libraries, getting the books. It is a good habit to go to the library, but now if you have got the facilities available, then go on the internet. But my first thing is, do not Google, simple Google, right? Do not use the Google to search the research papers, because Google gives you everything that has been put by anybody. So you need some search engine, you need some website, you need some portal that provides you typical scientific research work that has been peer reviewed, that has been tested, that has been accepted by the community. So we use the internet and we use the research specific sites. We have the sites like ISI Web of Knowledge, Science Direct, scholar.google.com, ACM, IEEE, and so many digital libraries. We have so much material on the internet that now you need not to go to somewhere to get the resource, right? So you can get the different journals, different research papers, proceedings of the conferences, specific topics, specific articles of specific authors. So you have got a very good searching opportunity on the internet. You can get the data, you can get the papers, you make your own pool of the research paper related to your topic, and then you can start your study. And now you know that research information, as they show all relevant, irrelevant, authentic, unauthentic information. So you must check that. In fact, Wikipedia, Google, in fact, are not the right source to search for the research, because whatever I write and I put it on the internet, it has not been proven, because research must be proven. But my work is not been proven, is not be peer reviewed, has not been tested, and but it will be available on the Google. So when you search on the Google, you will get all the garbage that everybody has placed on the Google. So instead of this, you must go for something that is relevant, that is authentic, that is accepted by that research community. So you should better use the specific sites and specific scholar.google.com kind of websites. Now, distinguish between required and not required information. Remember one thing, sometimes we get excited and we try to download and we try to gather everything even that is not needed. So you will have to be clear about something, that what is relevant and what is not. what is required and what is not, so that you may not get a pool of research papers on your computer, on your laptop, that will again put you in a trouble to again search inside those 150 papers to get the relevant papers. So just try to think about, if you will have some specific area, some specific topic, so try to concentrate to get the papers, the scholar work related to that area or the topic, right? And now, as you all are connected, so digital libraries contains best resource. So all the research community puts their data in the digital libraries, and these all are connected, so you can get the relevant and reviewed and tested research papers from these places. And now, in fact, this is from where to read, Science Direct. I just added a screenshot of Science Direct. You can use it, you can use your web of knowledge. So in this way you can get the right material from the right places. Now, the informal channel. Always check if a teacher is teaching you a subject like networking, like image processing, like data science, any other. So what you should do, you must better also ask your supervisor, sir, I want to start my research with you, so I want to have a sitting with you, I want to have some words with you. So try to seek the knowledge, try to seek some idea from the supervisors, from your friends, from your team members, so that whenever we are trying to get the right material, our supervisor, or maybe my friend is also working in the same area, he can guide me, okay, you get these kind of papers from that site, you can study this research, it will help you. So normally this is the informal channel, but it helps us a lot if we have a group of researchers who are working to a similar area or who have the same level of knowledge. So when they are trying to study, they all can share their experiences, and then your supervisor can guide you well because he has got the knowledge and he can put you on the right path. So you must use this informal channel as well. Now the next question, and that is very much important, what to read. The important thing is, if you have collected the reliable, authentic, reviewed data, then it is a good resource for you to start with. So always read the published and well reputed material. So you will have, when you were selecting, when you were getting the papers from the internet, from the digital libraries, from the Science Direct, and from everywhere, when you are getting the research papers, try that those are published, because any journal that is a reputable journal, when it published, so it meant that that research has got some worth, it has got some value. So try to get those papers. Then also attend the research meetings. Normally we avoid these. We simply feel that it is the wastage of time. But remember, when you sit in a meeting, you sit in a conference, you start thinking. Because sitting alone and doing nothing, you will never start thinking. But when you listen to somebody, when you look at the work of somebody else, when there is a talk or people are asking the question from the researcher, or researcher is trying to elaborate his concepts, so that is the best thing, that you must attend the research meetings, conferences, and then read the proceedings of the conferences, right? So in that case, if you are spending some time with the researchers, with the friends who are doing research, with the people or scholars who are doing research, you just listen to them, and then your brain starts working, your mind starts working, you start thinking, at least, okay, this can be done, okay, it has been done, okay, we can think on these lines. So this is the best way you can start with, or you can get your interest in that particular research study or reading strategy kind of things. Then you will have to try to find some area, sub area, and read about it. As I told you earlier, in fact, you must be clear. It takes some time. In the first semester, you feel like you can do this, then you say, no, I think I should go to the other field. Then you go say that, okay, I'll go in this field and in this sub field of this field. But some days, after some days, you say, no, I don't think I'll work in it. I will be in the same field, but I will try some other subfield. So try to find out some specific area so that you must get focused towards the research or the publications or the conferences of that area. And then how we start it, take one paper. So you will have to download or open one research paper and then download all its references to increase the knowledge in that area. So I have downloaded only one paper, and I want to know if I want to study or read that paper. So many things are defined, described in that paper very briefly. So if somewhere I want to know more about it, so I will download the reference papers as well, so that I may increase the depth of my knowledge. I must know about it. If he has said that, on what basis he has said that. So I will try to download or I will try to get access to all those references that make sense for me. If those are available, I can understand more. I can increase my knowledge. Now check whom to read. Normally we say that read to that scholar, but this is another concept. Check. Always consider the good names of that particular area in which you want to work. That is right. But this is important. Do not be author-centric. That means it is not that you are studying only the papers of Mr. A and B, papers of Mr. C and D. No, don't do that, because Mr. A and B can be excellent in that area, but there would be some other person who may be providing us another point of view, opposing point of view. So what we say that, yes, study all the good names in that particular area, but do not be author centric, rather concept centric. Consider your concept, your topic, your field of research, and then try to study those good names along with others who are doing, but they are maybe opposing, maybe they are doing in their own way. So try to read all the authors, right, who are working in that area, and also those who have worked in that area, to get opposing views as well. Because when you will get the opposing views, it will open your mind why they are opposing, why they are saying this research is not worth research, right? We must not spend time on it. So you must study the concept, and you must study all the good names in that area, all the other authors and researchers who are working in that area, because it will provide you a breadth, right? Depth you can get with all those good names in the same area, and breadth when you will get opposing views and the relevant related issues, so you will get more to understand. Now, when you are downloading the papers, you are reading the papers, it is very much important that must you recall, that you must understand in which paper, which thing or which concept or which technique was discussed. So if you just read every paper and put them aside, it will just give you the knowledge, but you will not be able to refer it whenever you need it. So always note down and save the details of every article. I am not saying rewrite the paper, rewrite the 40 pages. No, just in fact you will have to make a summary. You will have to make an Excel sheet, you will have to make a chart, whatever you like, and you will have to note down few points about that paper. This paper deals with the data mining. It uses this technique of the data mining. So it will help you. You will have an index kind of document. Whenever you want to review a paper, you want to look at a paper, then you can go to your chart, your Excel sheet, your notebook, and you can check, okay, this concept was given in my paper number 9. that has the title this. So in fact, always note down or save the details of every article paper. Make an Excel sheet in which mention the article title, its author, the concept discussed, strength of the article, weaknesses of the article. So now in fact you are making a matrix, a table in which you will find all your information that you have studied in so many papers. So it will help you when you will need a concept, when you will try to think about an author. You will not to go through all 100 or 50 or 150 papers. What you will do, you will simply come to this matrix, this particular table, and you will try to find out in which paper or papers this concept was discussed. So check. In fact, this is one style. Okay, you can make your own style, you can make your own table, your own matrix, but it must be understandable by you. You must be able to understand that what does it mean. For example, I say that I made a table and I said themes, aims, what methods are used, what were the results, strength, weakness, what I feel about it. So what I'm saying, in fact, I am taking the study A has theme this. If yes, check. What are the aims? Write down. Methodology used? Write down. Results and your response. And do with the second paper and third paper and the fourth paper. So in this way, this matrix will help you whenever I want to know that, in fact, which paper used the simulation. So what will I do? I'll come to my Excel sheet or my table or my this index paper, and I'll come over here and I'll check methodology, experiment. No, I don't need that. Simulation, I need this paper. Then simulation, I need this paper. Experiment, no, I don't need this. So in this way, this will help you a lot. You need not to open each paper again and again and read out again and go for the study of that research methodology. What will you do? You will look at this table, this matrix, and you will check the methodology. If I say that here there can be an author, I'll show you. Then we will look at the authors and we'll get the papers and we'll start studying. So in fact, whenever we are studying, we are noting down different things, whatever is of your interest. You make those headings and write down or check or anything. Here I can say that, for example, here different papers titles, or I can write down the authors, like check. Here I have the concept A, B, C, D. I wrote down the paper's name, paper 1, paper 2, and now I say that paper 1 has discussed the concept B and concept C, and it did not discuss the D, it is empty. It did not discuss the A, it is empty. Then the paper 2, article 2, it told us about the concept A, concept B, so we call it normally a concept matrix. So as I told you, instead of going towards the author, go towards the concept, and you just add all the papers and mention which concept is discussed in which paper. So you can easily check your repository, your pool of so many papers, and whichever concept you are more concerned with, you can get the articles and you can easily read or study from those papers, right? So it is how we record what we have studied and which concepts we have studied and which authors we have seen. And similarly, we can make the author matrix where we can write down the author's name. This author has discussed these concepts, this author has discussed. So there are different kind of matrices, and you can make as per your choice, but we prefer the concept, right? And we think better that we can work better with different articles of different people having the same concept that we are interested in. Now, the next thing, that is in fact the result of after what we have studied. After reading, we come to a point where we know what others have done. Now I have studied so many papers, so I come to a point that I can say that, oh, I was thinking I'll do this, but it has been done by others in that year, maybe 5 years ago. I was thinking I'll do this, but it has already been done by that person. So in fact, we come to a point where we have little bit knowledge in that particular area, what has been done, at which stage we are now, from where we should start. It is not that I am doing something that has been resolved 10 years ago. So literature review, literature study, it gives us a strength to talk about something that this has been done by that author, by that scholar. What is needed to be addressed? As I told you, the empty space. When we study so many papers, we realize that in this particular sub area of a field, there we can see that people have talked about this and this and this and this, but they have not addressed, they have not talked about this. What is the reason? Whether the other paper will tell us there is no work in that area that is required. It is not worth working. But sometimes we find a gap, we find an area of our piece of puzzle, and we find that, okay, here I will do my work. What methods are used by researchers? Maybe one problem is being solved by different methods. So we look into it, okay, this problem has been solved by this method and this method. I can try the third method, right, if it is relevant. So we know that. Now, what we can do in research. So now we know about what others have done, what has been touched, what methods they have used, and now what we can use. In fact, now we are a little bit clear about it. Next one is from where we should start so that we may not reinvent as I told you, I'm thinking about something, but when I study the papers, study the research of other scholars, I realize, oh, it was done 10 years ago. Maybe I do not know about the field, but when I realized, when I studied the research paper of others, I realized, oh, it has been done 5 years ago. So now, in fact, we should start so that we may not reinvent the wheel. We start from where the research has reached, and from this point forward we will work. The idea to formulate a research question. Look, when you study so many papers, you just get an idea how researchers formulate some question, how they state their question, how they write their question, how they post their question, so that you may an art that whenever we are because it is not an ordinary process so to state a research question or research questions. So what we do when we study the research of others, we realize that, oh, this is a very good way to formulate a question, to ask about a problem. So this is, we get the idea to formulate a research question, and then when we know about the formulating the question, we come up with method to use in that question. In fact, when we study so many papers and we study the research method used by the other scholars, we get a little idea about how my problem, my question would be answered, which method would be best suited for this kind of question. So as you have already studied the work of others, the experienced scholars, you will get an idea for my question which method can be better. And then from where to get the help in our problem. Look, when you study the work of others, you realize there are so many research groups. They are working together, they are helping each other. So we get an idea from where we can get the help, which group we can join, so that when we will post a question, we will need some help, they will guide us. They will not provide us everything, we will have to do our research by our own, but they can show us the path, so we can take that path, we can work on it, we can perform our experiments, we can do our simulation, but they can guide us. So the papers give us this idea also, that in case if we need somewhere some help, so which will be the groups which author can be the helpful resource at that time, which site can help me, which content can help me, which paper can help me. So this is also very much important. So now this is the very basic lecture about how we can start our research and why do we need to read the paper of others, why we will have to study the work of others, because we want to come to a point where we know what has been done, who are the prominent people who have placed or put their work in it, which is the empty space where I can do my research, which resource is more related to my research, which or how many researchers are there that can be helpful, which papers can be helpful. So in fact this is something that we studied today, and I hope that with the help of this lecture you will be able to at least start searching your papers or start searching the research work of others. That will give you an idea from where you will start studying, and make a habit of reading the work of others. I know it is very much difficult in the start, but once you get start reading the work of others, you get used to of it and you feel like it is more easy to understand. So you start understanding the things and then you realize you can work on it. So in the next class we will extend from here. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.